Good evening. Stories of G. Stuff that happened to me. This will be episode 8, I believe. If you haven't done already, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. I'm going to tell you now loosely about the year 2000. In a previous video, I did the eclipse I went down to in Oman, in Cornwall in 1999. And I mentioned in that I went to another one in Madagascar in 2001. So the year 2000, in between those 2 years, was pretty major for me. A lot changed. I was at the time I was working for Virgin Direct. I was a pension specialist working for Virgin Direct. I went to Cornwall for the eclipse, and I came back kind of changed. Kind of like, you know what? I want to see more of the world. I want to have a look about. That eclipse was amazing. Travelling down here, coming down by my own, camping and whatever. It was all pretty good, and I want to do more of that. So I went back to work, and I immediately sort of wasn't so into the office job work thing that I was in at the time, pensions and finances and stuff. A couple of guys from work were surfers. One of them I'd been down to Cornwall with, Tony Ward, and we started talking about maybe going away in the new year. So we had a look around, and we chose the Canary Islands. I just bought this magazine, Surfer's Path, with a big thing about Fuerteventura in it. So we said, "What about here?" And we said, "Yeah, cool, let's go." Off we go. So we all went there in January, February, year 2000. And I got home and I was like, right, that's it. I'm moving back here as soon as I can. I've had enough of the UK. That was great. I'm going to move there. So at that point, I was basically paying escapism for the next year. I was in this long-term incentive thing through in the company I was working for, Virgin Direct. And I had to be there at the end of the year to get the payout. So went to Fuerteventura on holiday right at the beginning of the year. I was like, right, I've got to see out the year. So at that point, it was just escapism. It was just keeping my head occupied, doing work because I had to do it, and then just keeping myself occupied. And when I say occupied, I mean kind of like, I was just away, I started going to parties at the weekend, like, every weekend would be a different party somewhere. They used to be called raves back in the day. By the time I was going to them, they were kind of called free parties. And they weren't in warehouses and things. They were in fields or barns or somebody's back garden or, wherever. And you'd phone up this telephone number in the days before, mobile phones were just coming out, were just getting popular. But the internet wasn't about or anything, and text message, WhatsApp and that sort of thing wasn't about. So on a Friday night, you'd phone this telephone number and there'd be an answer phone message. So, all right, tonight's parties are, there's one here outside Thetford and and there's another one over here. So you choose where you were going to go down to I would go to the Pottergate in Norwich on a Friday, Saturday night. And then we'd head off to a party somewhere out in the countryside. I remember one I went to with a guy called Dave. Two haircut Dave, two haircut Dave, and I went with him in his camper van. And as we drove out, we turned off the main road to sort of where we thought we knew where it was, more or less. And like the 7 cars behind us all turned off behind us. Bit odd. We start driving up and down these country lanes looking for the party. These 7 cars just stay behind it. They clearly also looking for the party and think like, camper van, the hippie van, they know where we're going. So they just followed us around the countryside, go up one road, slot this way, right, do a 3-point turn, come back down it, and all 7 of them would go up, do a 3-point turn, follow us back down again. Eventually, you sort of, whenever you were looking for these parties, eventually what you do is you pull up, you turn the engine off, you turn to the cars behind you, turn your engines off, shut up, turn the engines off. I can hear bass coming from that way. Let's go that way. So you just drive until you found a road. So yeah, I was doing that like all the weekends, and then I'd also at the weekends I'd go surfing whenever I can to the coast with James Cree. Typically, we'd go out to Galston. We used to go to Galston a lot. We had some good hunting at Galston. So I'd be doing that all weekend, and then at work for the week I'd just be getting through it. Just getting through it. And that's what I did for the whole year. I met a girl called Cara. Bless Cara. Still friends, still have contact with Cara. And we sort of met and we kind of got together, and I was like, look, I'm leaving the country at the end of the year, by the way. I was pretty one track. I've got to do this. I can't get sidetracked. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. Yeah, so I look back now and I was like, was that really fair on her? But then, you know, I told her from day one, she sort of accepted it. Whether she was happy about it. But yeah, you know, these are the things we do. So, yeah, went through the year. Like I say, it's just going to work, going to parties, going surfing whenever I can. Got through to the end of the year. Payout's about to come. I phoned so I was going to get my payout, my Christmas bonus, my December and January pay pack, all in a lump on the same day, about 3 days before Christmas. And I was at a telephone bank, First Direct. So I phoned them up just after midnight. I said, can I get a balance, please? And they were like, yeah, you're £50 overdrawn. I was like, oh, right, bugger. She said, system's updating, call us back in a bit. So I called back about 45 minutes, an hour later. Can I get a balance? And they're like, £9,000 or something stupid. Woo. So I paid off everything I owed, paid off some money that I owed my dad, paid off some money I owed my mum, paid off my stereo, cleared everything. Walked in the next day, handed in my notice. There was me, everybody got this payout, and loads of people left in the coming months. But me and one other girl, Kirsten, I believe her name was, we were leaving the country. So we both, next day, walked in, here's our resignation, see you later. We had a joint leaving thing up Punanas in the city, I think that's what it was called. And then, yeah, sort of in January we had that. But yeah, so the next day I went in, handed in my notice, went out, bought everybody another Christmas present, because Christmas was coming up. Christmas and New Year, I bought everybody everything, all the drinks to get in, all the tickets to get in everywhere, everything just sorted out. It's all on me, no worries. Got through to about January the 16th, I think. That was my last day at work. Weren't my last day at work. We had our leaving thing at Punanas, myself and Kirsten. And about a week later, I left the UK. Went first to Malaga to see Jay. We'd hooked up earlier in the year, randomly. I'd got given this little book, this little notebook that somebody had found in a friend's pile of stuff. And there was a number in there for Jay's parents, mum, and I'd lost contact with Jay the year before. So I phoned this number and said, hey, it's G. Do you remember me? Can I get Jay's number? And she said, oh, if it had been anybody else, I'd have said no. But as you, I gave you the number, phoned Jay, we got back in contact. We were both about to leave for Spain, randomly, within a couple of months. So he left just before me. So I went to Malaga first, stopped off there, told him about the eclipse in Madagascar. We'd had this dream from years before about going to Madagascar for the II thing. So we were like, right, bash, bosh, do the tickets, get them booked. I went to the Canary Islands. We then met up later that year. I went to the Canary Islands for a bit, then I went to Ireland for a bit. Then I came back to the UK, met up with Jay, and off we went to Madagascar to see the eclipse there, which is clearly another story. But yeah, that was the year 2000, 2000, as I named it in another video sometime. Yeah, the year 2000. That was the year I really decided, you know what, I need to get out there and have a look. It's only by happenstance and mistake that I'm back in the UK, really, now. If not, I'd have still been away, and it was the year 2000 that made the difference. It was from that eclipse in 99 to the eclipse in 2001. That was what shaped myself going forward. So yeah, so that is Stories of G, stuff that happened to me. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. I've done that really confidently, probably on the wrong side, but anyway, we'll go with that. And if you'd like me to tell a story, or if you'd like to know if I know anything about, leave a message in the comments below, and I'll get back to you. Have a good one. Laters.